Well, how's everyone doing today? You know me, I'm Walter Ross, aka Jedi Granville on YouTube. But I'm not doing anything too special today in terms of, you know, unboxing or talking about anything Godzilla related or anything sci fi for that matter. I'm actually going to speak about the events that took place 20 odd years ago, and we all know what that was. That was on the morning of Tuesday, September 11th, 2001. And I'll just be brief about it. I won't say too much, but I just wanted to say how this really affected me when this took place. I really didn't expect anything to really be special going on that day. I mean, in fact, I was just going to pretty much take it easy that day. I wasn't going to do anything too special. I was just going to, maybe do a few errands around the house, maybe run somewhere or anything like that and take care. I was off from work. I was pretty much shooting the breeze, as the saying goes. But, and I was going to sleep in late too. That was the other thing. I was going to sleep in late that morning. But I guess something made me get up, maybe it was the fact that I didn't have to really do anything or had to go to work that made me, rise up that morning. And, I figured, okay, get up, I don't have to go to work. So, I just had to do a couple of errands and do that, so I would never have known, would never have imagined the events that were going to take place that would change mine and everyone else's life in this world. And I can tell you now, it really affected me more than I thought. I thought when I saw the whole thing transpire right in front of my face, I was just like, wow. I just never imagined that this could happen. When I saw this transpire, I thought this is like out of a movie. Hollywood has such a grand notion of talking about how terrorism works in the world, but never imagined that it would be on this kind of scale. And when this tragedy took place, it just shocked my mind. For the life of me, I just would have never imagined that was, really a change every perspective of what I think was even humanly possible. And to show that humans can be productive, but they can be so destructive at the same time. And like I say, that morning, it was a nice morning. It was a crisp morning, nice, cool, wasn't hot and anything. Fall was coming near. It wasn't fall. It was feeling fall weather, but it wasn't fall yet. And like I said, what came about turned into the most horrific moment in human history. It's just amazing, and now 20 years later, I've never forgotten that moment. Even when time progressed, you get on with your life and everything, I never stopped thinking about what happened that day. Here I am in my 50s now. I was in my early 30s. It still stands with me in my mind. It's burnt into my brain. It can never leave. It can never be erased. Just like with the events that took place, it can never be erased. And I felt I just need to say this, talk about it a little bit, because some people, I guess, they don't want to focus on it too much. I guess they figured, let's, just do away with it. But it's like we have to look and realize, hey, this was a part of our history. When I say history in the making, that came about, and we need to know why it happened. You know, why did this take place? Why did this come about? You know, I mean, it's many things. I think that's something I think people tend to forget. It's like, why did it happen? Why did it happen? You know, could it have been prevented? We don't know. I mean, if it could, great, but since it didn't, you know, it took place. It can't be erased. You know, and like I say, for me, it still holds dear in my mind. But that's one thing about me. You know, as a person who wants peace in the world, saw it just kind of taken away in the blink of an eye. You know, and I just wanted to make this little video about that moment in my life and how it changed me, like I know it changed a lot of other people. But as I say, you know, knowing that it did affect me, like it affected a whole lot of other people, I would like to think, you know, you're able to take what took place and not let it rule you in terms of, okay, how can you make it better? And when I say make it better in terms of how can you focus to where these kind of tragedies won't happen again. What took place in New York, what took place in Washington, you know, all these things. It's you know, you gotta remember, an act of terrorism like this takes years of planning. It doesn't just happen overnight. It takes planning. It takes a whole lot to get that done. And I'm just like, this was a moment where we was caught with our pants down, and it just happened, you know. And like I say, 20 years later, it's like, I feel that some things like this that happen, that take place, we tend to forget. Even though, I mean, this is, like I say, it's 20 years, but even something that happened maybe 5 years, some people feel is oblivious and they just forget about it. This is something that affected a whole lot of, it just affected a mass number of people, you know. And I feel it needs, as I say, it needs to be, you know, always reverted and always talked about every time, because otherwise it'll never, you know, I'm pretty sure it'll never go away, but it needs to be known. It needs to be, you know, taught to future generations, so they will never want to know how this could happen in their world, where a place where this is a land where freedoms are supposed to be given to you, but they can easily be taken away, you know. And like I say, 9/11 was one of those days that changed everything in a blink, and like I say, in a blink of an eye, in just a short amount of time. I mean, it was pretty much, like I say, it started at 8:40. That's the first plane struck at 8:40, 8:46, 8:48, I believe. I could be wrong. I know it's one of those two. I know it's late. You know, 8 o'clock. It's almost 9. But the simple fact is, it happened, and it just, like I say, it just, you know, changed everything, you know. And I've said this before, you know. Like I said, I never really expected much to happen that morning. I never expected to happen that day, but someone else had other plans, and someone else had a motive to say, we're gonna let you know, we're gonna make sure you see what we're capable of. And they did that. They pretty much made it sure that no one forgot that. And hopefully we never do, because we want the families of those people who died that day to be remembered, you know, because they need to be remembered. You know, they lost their lives that day. You know, I mean, the people who are out and about on the streets near near the towers, they weren't expecting none of that. They wouldn't. When death comes, you don't expect it. You know, it's like that old saying. It's like a thief in the night. It's gonna come and snatch you up just like that. You know, and for us to be ignorant enough to think that, okay, well, that's just random. No, it's not. It's not a random thing. Death is not random. Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, it can happen, but just because this took place, no, this shouldn't. Whoever did this, well, we know who did it. But the simple fact is, I'm saying it in terms of who did it. I'm saying in terms of knowing that anybody who just thinks to take a life and do something horrific like this, you can't be blind to the fact that it could happen. Your life could be taken in just that short amount of time. You know, it's just how it is. Life is not guaranteed. And on 9/11, nothing was guaranteed. You know, I still to this day, still I'm amazed at what took place. Like I say, changed merely, pretty much, which I've always been joyous, but, kind of naive 31-year-old into a more, I think I truly, because I was still kind of kiddish at that time, still kind of kid-minded, but in that moment I think I truly grew up. I became an adult, full ahead, because it showed that, it was time for me to realize that this is what is possible. Life can be taken away in just a short amount, just in a blink, and just snatched away from you. You just never know. And the people who were at the World Trade, it just happened. So, but I wanted to tell you that. I wanted to express that for this particular 20th anniversary of this, because we should never take life for granted, ever. None of us should. That's the ignorance of a lot of us. If we take life for granted, we rob ourselves in thinking that, we shouldn't do anything about it. No, we should do something about it. We should try to live, enjoy life. Because, and I'm doing that, enjoying life to the fullest. I'm going to G-Fest, and when it gets back on running, and doing other things, you can't let this strike you down and not be viced up and think you can't move, because that's the whole purpose of what happened that day. Fear. To drive home fear into you. And you shouldn't let that happen to any of us, But I always feel like, if we let fear truly dominate us, then the people who did this truly won. And we don't need those kind of individuals to win. Nobody like that should win. So, but I just wanted to make this little video real quick and say my piece about that, and see that, yeah, 20 years later, still embedded in here. So, but y'all have a good day. Y'all take care. Be blessed. And like I say, let's always try to make sure that we live to the fullest and never forget what took place that day. Y'all have a good day now.